Okay, so the mental health first aid approach works with children and young people, and it's two separate courses. One is for young people intervention and one is for adult intervention. And as with any sort of first aid intervention, the idea is to preserve life and promote recovery, okay, and actually get the person back to a place of good health, okay? But as the person first on the scene, it might be your task to stabilise the individual, but you may not have a follow-on piece of work with that person, okay? You may or you may not do, but your point of call is to actually stabilise them and get them the appropriate help that's needed. It may not be that you're the person that can give the appropriate help. It may be that you might be able to signpost them to the relevant person or organisation. Okay. Youth mental health first aid covers children from 11 to 18, but we actually cover the whole range from birth up to 25, and also we look at the correlation between adult mental health during pregnancy, so pre-birth as well. Okay, so as I've said, the aim is to preserve life where a young person may be a danger to themselves or to others. To provide help to prevent the mental health problem developing into a more serious state. To promote recovery of good health. To provide comfort to a young person experiencing a mental health problem. To raise awareness of mental health issues in the community and to reduce stigma and discrimination. Okay, has anyone seen on the TV the Time to Change adverts? Let's talk about mental health and Are You Okay? So those are the kind of campaigns that we support and we work alongside in order to reduce stigma around mental health within the community, because it's often our ideas and our prejudice against mental health that stops people from coming forward for help, especially young people. That would definitely stop them coming forward if they feel they're going to be laughed at or ridiculed or in some way put down because of their need. So the definition of mental health is for a child to develop psychologically, emotionally, intellectually and spiritually. To initiate, develop and sustain mutually satisfying personal relationships. To use and enjoy solitude. To become aware of others and empathise with them, to play and learn and develop a sense of right and wrong, to resolve, face problems and setbacks and learn from them. So this is what we're looking at in a healthy child or young person. This is how we would expect them to thrive, how we would expect them to relate and deal with life. But however, where there's a mental distress or disturbance, we will see other forms of behaviours that will affect them adversely and affect their development, their ability to be able to attend education, to go to work, to have positive relationships, to end relationships, and do all the functioning things that you would expect people to be able to do. So why youth mental health first aid? Why do we need to look at this as an issue? Okay, well, this is a huge issue. Mental health problems are very common in young people. 1 in 10 young people is experiencing some form of mental health. In fact, 3 children in every class will be experiencing some form of emotional disturbance or mental health issue. Right, for those aged 15 to 24, suicide is the second most common cause of death. That's 19% of deaths in young people are because of completed suicide, okay, which is a huge number, and we need to be looking at decreasing that and finding ways to intervene early before young people are getting to this crisis point. There is a high level of stigma associated with mental health problems and young people. Many young people are not well informed about mental health problems. Many young people do not seek help for mental health problems. A young person may not realise that they need help or that effective help is available. The helper's action may determine how quickly the young person with the problem gets help or recovers. Mental health problems interfere with the important tasks of adolescent development. And as you can imagine, and some of you are not that far away from your adolescent years, that during those times there's lots of changes in terms of physical changes, emotional changes. Things are happening in terms of boundaries and having being given more freedoms, and that sort of like conflict between being a young person and growing into a young adult, and obviously all the physical changes and the hormones. So there's a lot going on within the young person in terms of the biological changes. This is a time of huge significance for them, and it can really interfere with their emotional and mental health, and changes in their environment and their relationships with other people can actually affect them in quite a significant way. In terms of how they will behave, how they will think, and how they feel about themselves, because a lot of this is about how young people feel about themselves that leads them to take drastic action.